I'm a OG boy. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. OG boy. Day we hustle, but the night we OG boy. Know that they ride or die.
Hey, what's up, my chain breakers? I was typing in the search bar and I was asking, do CPS really steal children? And I came across this off of this site here, and the lady, she wrote, and there's other people that wrote answers too, and it says, do children's services steal children from good homes? And I started like looking at her answer, and she said, yes, they do. They absolutely do. And so this is a woman, Miss Peterson. Her children are grown now; they're adults. So this cannot come back and bite her in the butt. So what she's saying is, it's difficult if CPS were to follow their own rules, because the goal should be, reunification, the children back at home with their parents, especially if the parents are good parents. But good parents would be willing to jump through almost or all of the requirements for reunification unless they could afford a good lawyer to get the whole situation scrapped. But a lot of times I found out by reading is that CPS, if they feel like you don't have a good lawyer or you can't afford a lawyer, then they will keep picking at you at their leisure. But when they find out that you got some pull, you know what I'm saying, they'll back up off of you. So I'm convinced CPS wanted my children. This is what she's saying. They were young, beautiful, and white children. Late one night when she was at home, she had a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, but she said they're all adults right now. And her husband was working an overnight shift at a tech company. That's where he normally worked, and she was a stay-at-home mom. And she had given him a grocery list, because they need to refill the cupboards. He had a long grocery list to pick up at the 24-hour marketplace when he got home from work. Okay, so she had made the kids some macaroni and cheese and some broccoli for their supper because she had a really bad headache and she just wanted to go to bed early. So the dinner that she made used up all the milk that they had left, and their pantry that they had was pretty much empty. But by the time they woke up, her and the kids, they would have their choice of cereal, oatmeal, toast, fruit, juice, milk, eggs, whatever the kids decided that they wanted. You know what I'm saying? And we would have food for the weekend plus, for the week and plus snacks. And then the weekends they would have enough for lunch, and then they would go back and go shopping again. So this is normal. Everybody's cabinets don't always stay full. You know what I'm saying? People are constantly, cooking. Some people will throw food out that's been in there too long and they want to scrap their cabinets and start afresh. So this is nothing that I see as a red flag, okay? So the mom and her kids went to bed early. The 3 and the 6-year-old went to bed early. At around 3 a.m., about 2 hours before her husband was due home, she woke up to her pillow feeling soaked. And when she looked, she noticed that the pillow was soaking with her blood, and blood was coming out of her ear like really bad. And so she said, my husband was not allowed to have his cell phone out on the floor. It had to be in his locker. So I called the voicemail for his boss, though that is rarely checked at 3 a.m. Having no help and no way to get in touch with him, I called 911 to see if someone could check my ear, do something to stop the bleeding until my husband came home and I could go to the outpatient or just to the clinic when it opened. Police were the first responders, and they were immediately hostile, asking if I was cutting myself. And you know what? This does happen. You do have police that are just really jerks. Some of them are just jerks and they don't care and they can't see that they're jerks, and maybe people around them are not telling them or challenging them, or because they're scared of them, they take their job and that power that they have way too far. So she said, I showed them my wrist, my arms, other parts, other common places, People cut, and I said, no way. They shine their flashlights into the kids' room and say into their radio, teen mom. How do you know she's a teen mom? Did you even ask her age? Did you even ask her for ID? Even if she does look young, the appropriate thing is, do you have ID? What's your name? Identify yourself. She said, I'm 27. I snapped. And given that I had a just 6-year-old, so she probably said, given that she had a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, it would be difficult for me to be a teen mom, even if I had been a teen when he was born. So if he was born, she still wouldn't have been a teen mom, because her son is 6, the oldest child. So he right there should have really backed up and mind his business on that, unless he asked her for ID. He should have never said teen mom, So they started shining their flashlights in our cupboards and refrigerator. You could turn the lights on, you know what I'm saying, basically. And why don't they ever turn on the lights? Because they want to kind of put a picture together the way that they want to put it together. And because it's dark, they can say it looked any kind of way that they wanted to say it looked. But if the lights is on, they can't make up a story. That's why they couldn't be able to, well, I couldn't see no furniture. I couldn't see the refrigerator. I couldn't see this. They will say all stuff like that. Well, I didn't see no furniture. Oh, I didn't even see a bed, because you didn't turn the lights on. So they can use that and have dispatch call CPS. They ask all kinds of questions about the food, and I'm getting lightheaded from bleeding, which no one was treating. The EMTs finally arrived along with CPS, and they repeated all the questions about food and whether I cut my own eardrum. Wow. Okay, so let's continue. There's no food in here for a child, just condiments and some crackers. That's right, my husband is going to the store as soon as he gets off work. What are they going to eat all day? All day tomorrow. The food my husband purchased at the store when he gets off of work at around 5. This is what she's telling them. But what would they eat before then? It's Saturday. There won't be breakfast at school. They keep shouting things like this at me if I was a dimwit, and I cannot get them to get their heads around the fact that the children are sleeping and won't be eating in their sleep. And by the time they awaken, there will be about $200 worth of groceries in the house. Are you on SNAP food assistance? No, ma'am. My husband makes too much money at his job. Does he pay child support? No, we are married. These are our children. We all live here. My husband's work at the computer company, and I am looking for a job, having worked at a big law firm for several years. You're unemployed? Yes, I got let go a month ago. So this is how they ask all these questions. They try to trap you up and make it seem like you are horrible. The police and CPS reports were written up as never having food in the house, of husband having left because he wasn't there at night, and that I was chronically unemployed, even though I'd been steadily employed with few gaps since moving back to my hometown after college 5 years earlier. So they just came up with this whole shebang. You know what I'm saying? They just came up with all these lies on this woman, trying to get her children and trying to make her life a living hell. And a lot of people are going through that right now as we speak. As I'm reading this story, there are other people that are able to identify with this story. And as you can look at the bottom, it said it had 159 views. And what is crazy is how many people out of there, 159 views. Literally, this is my story. This is my actual story. You get what I'm saying? So then it began. Voluntary services included a parenting expert showing up at the house after we got the kids back. They removed the children first to a group home, and then with my husband's aunt. I have never figured out how that was a better placement for them. The group home, for obvious reasons. My husband's aunt had raised the snarkiest cousin of my husband's who felt it necessary to join a fakeish gang at his school. Also, he basically flunked out of school, and Aunt made excuses for him, saying he was bright and bored. Even if that was true, he was never taught respect as a youngster. It came later, after he went into the Navy, because when you go to the Navy, honey, they going to shape your disrespectful butt up. So, and I didn't want my children raised like that. There were also cousins, friends wandering in and out a dirty, ashy, I mean, out of in and out of a dirty house because she forgot the word and say ashtrays were all over the place and they had to share the attic instead of having their own rooms. Our actual parenting of the children was never questioned, just whether we were neglecting them by not forcing them to eat while they were sleeping, and the question of whether I punctured my own ear canal to get attention. It took, sadly, my father dying to leave me a small inheritance so that I could call the CPS office and to tell them, please listen carefully and take this all down. I am, her name, case number. I'm about to hire the most vicious son of a bitch lawyer, and that I can find to take all of you down for your BS case against us. Check this out, y'all. After she made that phone call, she said within a day they dropped the case. Sometimes money talks. They could have gotten a lot of money through funding and foster care and later adoption assistance. Yes, their department pays it out of their department pays it out, but with more cases they get funding from the government the next year. But if you make it not worth it with a big lawsuit and publicly as a threat, they may just give up. It's not about the kids. It's rarely about the kids. There are some wonderful, dedicated caseworkers, attorneys, judges, CASA workers, and volunteers, etc. out there. So this one right here, they dropped the case within a day. Sometimes money talk. They could have gotten a lot of money through funding of foster care and later adoption assistance. Yes, their department pays it out, but with more cases, but she should have said, but the more cases they get, with the more cases, but yeah, the more, that's what got me. The more cases they get, the more funding from the government for the next year. That's what it should have stated. That's why I got confused. But if you make it not worth it, I don't know, not worth it with a big lawsuit. But if you make it not worth it with a big lawsuit and publicly as a threat. Okay, so, there's some words missing. I'm not going to try to add in words, but what she's saying is pretty much, yeah, there was some comments that I saw also, and it kind of disturbed me because one lady stated that CPS does not steal children, and in some cases they do. But I want to make it very clear to you guys that I'm not talking about the cases where parents are actually guilty of doing things that are wrong. So I don't want people to get the wrong idea of my reporting. I'm reporting about parents that have done absolutely nothing, and people have actually lied on them and had CPS come out and take their children from them for no reason. And you have those parents that have complied with everything that CPS wanted them to do, and still and yet they found reason to not return children. So there are some judges, some lawyers, like this lady said, there are some judges, lawyers, some caseworkers that are absolutely wonderful. They do their job. They care about reunification. They care about making sure that the child is in the best possible hands. And yes, even if they have to take the child out of the home for a little while and they get funding, they are working behind the scenes to try to reunite some children back with their families. I was looking at a case today, a couple of cases as a matter of fact, and it struck me because the judge asked, and the one of the I believe it was one of the people that was working on the case. I can't remember the exact title he held, but he asked the mother if she was capable of walking across town, to go get drug tested. And she made up every excuse in the book as to why she couldn't go and walk across town. So after they did the Zoom, because they are doing it on Zoom now, after we was able to watch it live, and after they did it on Zoom, they were like, it's crazy because she doesn't seem like, she's willing to do anything. So they told her, because she did test positive for, I believe it was I think it was meth. She did test positive. So they told her they wanted her to do a hair follicle test and a number of things. So what she did was she went off and dyed her hair. So they instructed her, not to dye her hair. They was going to give her more time in order for her hair to grow and time for her fingernails to grow. So they told her not to go get her fingernails done. They told her not to do anything to alter her nails. Don't bite them, don't chip them, anything. Excuse me, because they wanted to see if she was complying with not using drugs. And so also her kid's father, because of his past drug use, he was complying with everything, but because of the high amount of money they wanted him to pay in child support, he was living out of his car. And so he stated that he broke up with her 2 years prior to the children being taken from him, and she used that over his head. And so I guess he spiraled out of control and started using drugs, but they ended up lowering his child support payments to like $150 per month, which would help him. So he has been complying with everything. He has been doing drug testing and everything, but he doesn't have a real relationship with his kids. So I'm just saying that to let you know that there are lawyers and people and judges that will work with you and try to help you reunite with your children if you want to. So you guys, with that being said, you can leave your comments below. If you have any type of stories that you want me to bring forward, you can give me the information in my email, and you can block out or tell me to block out names. I can do it as, I got a story, I want to read from one of my subscribers, and I can bring that story forward. I would really like for you guys to bring me those stories. I'm trying to focus more on CPS and things of that nature. So you guys, with that being said, don't forget to hit that like button, that post notification bell, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I will talk to you guys in the next video, and you guys be safe. Look after your family, look after your loved ones. Don't be distant from them. If you're angry with them for whatever reason, you guys make up, because you know what, time is too short. And after they're gone, you can't say, oh, I wish I coulda, woulda, shoulda. You get what I'm saying? So life is too short. Stick close to your family, all right? And I'll talk to you guys later. Be blessed, and peace out.